here we go. It's a couple of allegations have been levelled against you. One being you had a personal vendetta against the Jersey establishments, and secondly, you were looking for a book deal. This is another allegation. I'm not sure if you're aware of it or not. And you created a frenzy at the Hotel Agarin in order to get yourself a nice little nest egg for your retirement to sell your book. How do you respond to that?
Well, let me deal with the first one first. Vendetta against the Jersey establishment. Why would I possibly have a vendetta against the Jersey establishment? I mean, I worked in a number of different jurisdictions. I worked in Northern Ireland. I worked in Scotland. I worked in London and various boroughs in London, where I worked with governments, where I worked with councils of all political shades and hues. Why on earth would I then choose Jersey to have a personal vendetta? My personal issue was not in the form of a vendetta. It was a personal issue of trying to get my job done on behalf of people that I was supposed to be working for, the people of Jersey, and that included the victims and survivors of the abuse inquiry. Also people who were subjected to the huge presence of, at that time, unlicensed firearms on the island, although most of them became licensed then. And also to do with police corruption and inappropriate behaviour. And I think it was round the issue of inappropriate conduct and corruption that my first battles with the Jersey establishment came. That was me trying to do the job that I was being paid for, not a personal vendetta. So, you know, I had no personal vendetta against anybody. I had my back against the wall at times, trying to protect the illusion of an independent police service, which is what it had been in Jersey for so many years until Graham Power arrived. And it was only when Graham Power arrived that the police service became truly independent. And some would have it go back actually to the days before that again. And, you know, witnessing Markham's comments about bringing the police back under political control again. And that gives a clue as to where he sees the job of the police service. As for the book deal, well, I mean, the Jersey Evening Post went to extraordinary lengths. One of their reporters, whose name I won't mention, she'll know who she is. She comes from a part of the British Isles not too far from me. She rang a number of publishers and agents in the United Kingdom, and one in particular who then got back to me, who had approached me. I'd been approached by a number of newspapers and agents and publishers to write a book, and my answer was the same to all of them as he repeated it to this journalist, that look, come and see me again whenever I've finished and retired. I'm not even thinking on it now. She rung up and told him that she had heard, presumably from me, that I had agreed, I think it was a six-figure sum for a book deal.
£1 million is what the rumour is.
Sorry?
£1 million book deal is the rumour.
I wish, could you put me in touch with him? £1 million? Well, yeah, can you give me his phone number? You know, and they said, she said to him, you know, it's been already agreed. And he says, no, he says, he freely admitted that he had contacted me, and he had. And he said, but Mr. Harper told me the same thing as he told everybody else. So, you know, so that was nonsense. But here we are now, I think, 2.5 years down the line. And yes, I've toyed with it now and again, and I've discussed it with various friends who all say to me, you should do it, you should do it. But frankly, I haven't got the time. There's too much that I'm doing that I'm enjoying at this moment to sit down. And there are others who are writing it who would do a far better job than me anyway. You know, there's at least one journalist from America who's working very hard on the book that she's writing to try and give the true perspective. And there are many people who would do it much better than I. And as I say, I just haven't got the time at the moment.
Well, thanks for giving us that insight. Now, what I would like to ask you, with the interviews you've done with the accredited media and all of it, is there one question that you've never been asked and wish you were asked?
Well, I think that from a personal point of view, Again, going back to the Jersey media, I don't know where it came from, but the Jersey media put out a smear campaign, one of which was this nonsense which allegedly, and I don't know, allegedly was in the Wiltshire report, that we spent an awful lot of money on lavish meals and hotels, etc., etc. And my take on that, I've already answered that in print, but my take on that has always been that we had a hospitality budget which we used for the benefit of the inquiry and gained huge amounts of help and assistance. But the strange thing to me was that Wiltshire interviewed me 5 days, 5 complete days, and every single word of that was tape recorded. Now, those 5 days seem to have disappeared into the ether. You know, a lot of the allegations being made by Ian Lamarcon and others were answered in those 5 days of tape recorded interviews. But never once, not once in those 5 days, not once at any other time have I ever been asked about the expenditure, whether it's been on the inquiry or whether it's been on hospitality. And instead, these snide slurs have been thrown in our direction. And I can't fathom out how come Wiltshire would interview me for 5 solid days, not ask me anything at all about those matters.
So, hang on a minute, sorry, could I just cut? You have never been interviewed about your expenses? Never?
Never. Never.
You're kidding?
No, I'm not. You know, there are 5 days of tape recorded interviews with me, Wiltshire Police, and not once did the subject of expenses come up. I know other people have been interviewed. Scotland Yard officers were interviewed, and they not only demolished it, but also gave the Wiltshire constabulary officers menus and website details, and showed them the websites of the restaurant that we were being criticised for going, and showed them that, you know, this is not a lavish, this is a restaurant where you wouldn't be able to eat for that price in Jersey. And they were asked and made statements to that effect, and those statements never have surfaced. But no, not one single question was ever asked of me about my expenses.
So the Jersey media have never contacted you, because they have run some, you know, some very big stories on your alleged lavish lifestyle at the cost of the Jersey taxpayer. Well, none of those reporters have ever contacted you for your version of events?
No, never.
Staggering. Never. Absolutely staggering. That's the accredited media.